Yes, in today's session, we are going to prepare a silicon mold of, and another model. We won't be using the same model for the mold, but you will understand the process of creating the silicon mold. Now, my question is why the silicon mold is required. I have these two models which I'm planning to, use and we can create the mold. Can anyone tell me what is the reason behind creating the silicon mold? Why do we do it?
So that we don't have to like do all these
Yeah.
like slabbing and everything again and again, then we can instantly make the models.
Very good. So, every single time, if I mean, see, imagine that this is your original artwork or original model that you've created for the first time, right? And imagine that you're getting 100, 200s of orders every day, okay? And you are not able to manage the orders in a way that you're not able to make, the model every single time with your own hands, right? So all the processes can be reduced if you can make a silicon mold out of it, right? So I'll show you the silicon mold of this particular model. So this is a silicon mold, and it is a very easy process to create the mold. It's just that you have to take care of, the proper mixture, and you just have to pour the liquid on top of it. It is nothing but a rubber silicon. Okay, it is mostly like in a liquid form, which you have to pour on the model, and after 2 to 3 hours, it will dry, and your silicon mold will be ready. Now, I will show you some other silicon molds which I have prepared earlier. See, this is the mold. So you can utilize a good space and place a lot of models. It is not important or necessary that the models are made by you, right? You can get something which is available in the market. You can get a ready-made model, right? And you can prepare a silicone mold out of it. Okay. And at the same time, it can be your own original work. Like this mask was made by me, so then I decided to, create a mold, and then we can get multiple copies of it. Okay. So these are some silicone molds which we have prepared earlier. Now, this is the liquid which you can use. The name of the brand is Haxon, and the product is Easy Mold Silicone. There are two parts, part A and part B. Okay, this is part B. The process is very simple. You have to take part A and part B in 1:1 ratio. You have to stir the mixture very well and mix it uniformly. Avoid, a lot of bubbles while you're mixing. Once it is settled, you can keep it safe for 5-10 minutes. You can allow it to settle, and then start brushing up your model using a brush. Use the material, and you can brush it like this. Once the model is fully brushed and a very thin layer of silicone mold is applied, you can pour the material on top of it, and in a way that it is fully under the liquid, right? The model should be fully under the liquid, and a thick layer of silicone mold should be covering your model, right? Allow it to dry for some time. 2 to 3 hours would be more than enough to, make the model, silicone mold, and then you can just, remove that mold, and it'll be ready. Okay. Right. So nowadays you might have seen that nowadays people are into, making these silicone molds, and they are preparing these candles. Right. So you might have seen that Parle Ji biscuit ka candles aate hain, then Rasgulla ka candle aata hai, then you might have seen a lot of different, theme based candles available. So what do they do? They usually prepare a real product. I mean the real Rasgulla, and then on top of it they put, the silicone mold. Definitely that Rasgulla cannot be ate later, but you can prepare the mold that way. So there are multiple varieties of silicone molds available in the market because it's nothing but a chemical and it's in a rubber form. So sometimes if you're putting it in on some sort of eatable, I would say, like parle ji या फिर रसगुल्ला के ऊपर आप डाल रहे हैं. So these type of molds are different, but as we are putting it on the clay model, which is already fixed, we can use this Haxon easy mold silicone. Okay, so let's move ahead with the process. Is there any question so far? Please let me know if there are any doubts.
Yes, sir, I have a question. आपने अभी
Yeah.
बोला कि रसगुल्ला पे, बट रसगुल्ला तो 3 डायमेंशनल है, उसको हम फिर सिलिकॉन मोल्ड कैसे बनता होगा? मतलब हमें तो 2 डायमेंशनल ही दिख रहा है ना ये सब.
राइट. सी, आप क्या कर सकते हैं कि इमेजिन दैट देयर इज अ बॉल, और जैसे कि हम रसगुल्ले की बात कर रहे हैं, राइट, वी कैन पुट इट हियर. आपके जो वॉल्स हैं जिसके अंदर सिलिकॉन रहने वाला है, दैट वॉल कैन बी अ लिटिल, द हाइट ऑफ द वॉल कैन बी लिटिल मोर. सो पूरा का पूरा जो प्रोडक्ट है उसके अंदर आ जाना चाहिए, राइट? दैट वे यू कैन prepare the walls and then pour the material, right? तो पूरा का पूरा उसमें आ जाएगा. Then you can either cut it into half or drill a hole. एक छोटा सा आप होल करके उसको आप एक स्लाइस देके फिर आप जब उसके अंदर मटेरियल पोर करेंगे then you just have to just imagine this. आपका जो मॉडल है यहाँ पे एक बॉल है और इस टाइप से आपका सिलिकॉन मोल्ड है, राइट? Here there will be a slit or it can be two parts, one this and one this, and once you put them together then your whole model is forming. आप समझ रहे हैं मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ? आपके जो बॉल है वो बीच में आएगा.
उसको विजन तो कर रही हूँ, बट इट विल बी हेल्पफुल अगर आप ऐसा कोई हमें, इफ यू कैन गिव अ वीडियो और समथिंग व्हेनेवर पॉसिबल सर.
या लेट्स प्रिपेयर दिस एंड मोस्टली आपका जो डाउट है वो क्लियर हो जाएगा इसके थ्रू. अगर आपको फिर भी क्वेश्चन है तो आई विल प्रिपेयर अ वीडियो, अ स्मॉल वीडियो.
राइट, थैंक यू.
Yeah, so first of all, our task is to, make the walls of and make the base of your model. For example, I have used Fevicryl fabric glue for attaching my model with this. This is an acrylic sheet. It's an acrylic sheet. I thought that the size is appropriate, hence I, pasted on top of this acrylic sheet. Now my task is that I should put some sort of a wall on, around my model in a way that when I am pouring the material should not, be dripped from the sides. It should be exactly on the top of your model, right? So that's why this wall is required. हर एक मॉडल के लिए अलग अलग शेप होगा. वी हैव टू प्रिपेयर द शेप इन अ वे दैट वी डोंट वेस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ मटेरियल बिकॉज इट्स अ लिटिल कॉस्टली मटेरियल एंड वी डोंट वांट टू वेस्ट इट, राइट? हेंस यू कैन सी दैट द साइड्स एंड मॉडल के बीच में देयर इज वेरी लिटिल गैप, वेरी लिटिल स्पेस इज देयर, राइट? So yeah, for that, for the walls, you may use this kind of strips, which will help you, preparing the sides. So the sheet that I'm using is, I'm reusing this certificate, right, which I got it from the school. It's a very old kind of a certificate, slightly thicker sheet. Okay, it's a normal paper only, but slightly thicker than a normal A4 size sheet. Now I'm going to apply this fabric glue the side of my acrylic sheet.
Sir, why fabric glue and not Fevicol?
Fevicol is, the consistency of Fevicol is a little liquidy. It will take time for drying, right? It's the same material, I think. Fabric glue या तो Fevicol दोनों same ही material है, just the consistency is different. Fevicol थोड़ा ज़्यादा liquidy रहता है तो time लगेगा उसको सूखने में. Fabric glue is that way a little quick in drying. You may use glue gun. Do you know what is a glue gun? Glue gun भी आप use कर सकते हैं.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, so glue gun will be further quicker. I mean, it will just take hardly a minute.
Quickly,
Hardly a minute or half, it will dry. That is also a good option. Once the fabric glue is applied, you can put down your model on the table, take your slits of your paper and try to arrange it in a way that it covers all the sides like this. Okay, make sure there is no gap between the acrylic sheet and the paper that you are attaching right now. Okay, फैब्रिक ग्लू अगर फेविकॉल लेंगे आप तो फेविकॉल में बहुत ज़्यादा डिफिकल्टीज आएंगी चिपकाने में बिकॉज इट इज़ वेरी लिक्विडी मटेरियल. नाउ एट द सेम टाइम आई विल अटैच another slit from here. Now I will hold it for a moment so that it dries a little bit. उसके बाद मैं टेप उसके ऊपर मार दूँ, right? You can use masking tape. मास्किंग टेप आप ले सकते हैं और उसको आप साइड से अटैच कर सकते हैं लाइक दिस. I'm not using the tape directly. I'm not using the tape because I have used it before, and the back side of the tape, the sticky part of the tape, is if it is coming in contact with the silicone mold, once after the silicone mold dries, then also the stickiness is still there, right? Imagine that I have applied a tape, a cello tape around this, all the sides. So हो तो जाएगा, आप 2-3 बार उसको wrap कर देंगे तो tape रह जाएगा. But once you are removing the silicone mold, the side of the mold will remain sticky, like forever. there's no other option of removing that stickiness. So इसलिए फिर मैं tape use नहीं कर रहा अभी. Paper उस हिसाब से better है. You can tap it, you can put a little more pressure on the side like this and उसको अच्छे से चिपकने दें. If there are still gaps, अगर यहाँ पे आपको gaps दिख रहे हैं तो use the fabric glue और यहाँ पे आप उसको भर दीजिए sides में. Okay. For now, I'm allowing this to dry. Meanwhile, we will work on this because this is already stuck before the class. Right. So now it's time to make the material. Okay. Keeping it aside. Now, for mixing the material, you need a weighing machine. Okay. You need some sort of a plastic or any container. I'm reusing this bottle, lower portion of the bottle. Right. And you have to make it 0. The unit should be in grams. Take part A. Now you have to, consider the approximate weight of the silicone mold. For that, what you can do, you can just put your model on top of it, right? अभी इसको 0 कर दीजिए आप, make it 0, and then pour a little water or any other material on top of it, right? अब वो थोड़ा risky है, but if you're planning to make multiple copies and if you want a perfect silicone mold and you do not want to waste the material, then pour water. जितना भी weight आपका यहाँ पे आएगा, उतना ही weight आपको mold बनाना है, okay? So that way it will be a little more convenient and it will be safer. We won't be wasting any amount of silicone. Now this is 0 as of now. The weight of the container is 0. Now I'm going to put part A and I know that nearly 100 grams मेरे model में चाहिए होता है. So I'm going to put 100 grams because I want to make 2 models. So I'm taking 100. Make sure that it has to be exactly 1:1 ratio. अगर आप 40 grams part A ले रहे हैं, then part B should be 40 grams only. This is 100. This is nearly 199 grams. And now I'm going to take, again, you can mark 0 and then take 100 grams of part B. 55, 57, 67, 75. Eight, 99, right? And even the previous one, you've taken 99. So इसको भी आप 99 पे lock कर दीजिए. Close the container very nicely. It should be airtight, otherwise your material will dry. Okay, उसको अच्छे से आप वापस से पैक कर लीजिए. Keep washing your hand. जैसे ही आपका एक स्टेज हो जाए तो आप हाथ धो डालिए वापस से. Keep a cloth piece with you. Keep cleaning your hand. Now I'm using this stick for stirring my material. Stirring should be very, very uniform. अगर आपका एक material दूसरे के साथ uniformly mix नहीं हुआ, then you cannot use it for pouring and it will remain in the semi-dry stage. Some portion will dry, which is mixed. Some portion will not dry, which is not mixed. Okay. So it is very important that you stir it for 5 minutes and very well, you should mix both the materials. Okay, like this you must mix. Avoid forming a lot of bubbles. इस तरीके से आप mix कीजिए कि bubbles form ना हो. Okay, if there are a lot of bubbles, there are chances that your silicone mold also will have a lot of bubbles. And when you are pouring the material in your mold, there are chances that the model which is coming out from that mold is having a lot of bubbles on the surface and it is not very well made. Yes, is there any question so far regarding this?
how much time does it take to dry off? I mean, if we are mixing it, then also it's like it's difficult. It will get hard or something like that.
See, nearly after you uniformly stir it, you mix it. After say 10 minutes, the process will start to, I mean, dry. The material will start to dry. So it is better that once it is uniformly mixed, you immediately start applying the material on the model. And nearly 2 to 3 hours it will take to dry off fully. 2 to 3 hours. Okay. अगर 2 या 3 घंटे में वो नहीं सूख रहा है, that means there is some issue with the consistency, or I mean the ratio is different, or maybe you haven't stirred it very well, right? So that has happened with me. Like I have prepared multiple molds which never came very well. So some or the other, because it's a chemical reaction happening inside, the material. So you have to be careful that you mix it very well. 5 से 10 मिनट तक आप उसको अच्छे से मिक्स कीजिए. You can also avoid forming the bubbles by, once you apply the first coat, you can have a heat gun which can be used for blowing the bubbles. Heat gun will be useful. Now it depends on which brand silicone mold you're using. Sometimes the ratio changes. Part A जो है वो 10% होता है, and part 2 जो है वो 90% भी होता है. So it depends on which brand you're using, right? So there are multiple brands and the ratio will change, but it will be written on the bottle that what is the ratio. And weighing machine is a compulsion here. You cannot randomly take the mixtures, I mean part A and part B. You can also, do this so that your material is यूनिफॉर्मली मिक्स्ड. बट इस फॉर्म में अगर आप उसको स्टर करेंगे तो बबल फॉर्म होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा है. इट इज़ वेरी थिक पेस्ट काइंड ऑफ अ मटेरियल. इट्स नॉट लिक्विडी. बहुत ज़्यादा थिक पेस्ट जैसा मटेरियल रहता है ये. You see the consistency. If you mix it well, it seems like it is uniformly mixed now. Now take your model. Just a second. You can use one brush. Any one brush can be useful here. If you really love that brush, do not use it, because once after the brush, the medium dries, the brush won't be useful anymore. Yes, use a random old brush. This is one of the brush which I'm planning to use. This is a heat gun which you can use for blowing the bubbles. Yes, so this is the process. Observe. Take the material and you can see that there are a lot of bubbles on the surface, right? So if you want to burst those bubbles, take the heat gun. Just do this. बहुत ज़्यादा heat gun use नहीं करना हो सके तो. Okay. Now we will be, applying a very thin layer of the silicone mold. So I'm taking my brush, taking a little bit of silicone mold, and I will start applying a very thin layer. It's more like you're coloring your model, right? Using this rubber mold like this. Why this is required? Can anyone tell me why this process is required? Why are
For
we
better
brushing?
finish, better finish of the silicone mold.
Very
Because
good.
जितना भी air है वो it will cover up
हाँ.
that.
Very good. So when you directly pour the material without applying a very thin coat of it, what will happen that there are chances that it will form multiple bubbles, right, near the surface of your model. So होगा क्या कि मान लीजिए कि अगर आपका जो आई है यहाँ पे, अगर वहाँ पे मैं डायरेक्ट अगर मटेरियल को pour कर दूंगा, there will be a bubble, okay, and your eye will look very different than what it is अगर वहाँ पे अंदर ये जो मटेरियल पहुंचा नहीं तो. So in order to reduce the number of bubbles near the surface of your model, we generally apply a very thin coat of rubber mold using the brush, and then we pour the material once the thin layer is applied. Okay. in order to save the amount of material used, you can also apply a thin layer of the coat on the surface and you can just remove that layer. आप दो बार अगर ये चीज़ फॉलो करके एक पतला सा लेयर क्रिएट करके, if you remove that layer, it will work as a mold. You don't need to, I mean, fill the whole thing. Definitely the life of the mold will increase if it is thick, but it will be doable. I mean, a very thin layer of mold will work. Right? So this way you have to apply the brush and a very thin layer of silicone mold can be applied. Try to reach in the grooves. जितना आप उसको डैब करेंगे, प्रेशर अप्लाई करेंगे, उतना वो ग्रूव्स के अंदर आपका मटेरियल जाएगा. And when you brush it, you will blow the bubbles. ब्रशिंग करते वक्त आपके जो बबल्स हैं स्कैटर हो जाएंगे और टूट जाएंगे. Yes, you see there are no bubbles on the surface now. Okay. Still, if you want to be on a safer side, just use the heat gun and just apply it like this on the whole surface. By any chance, if there are any bubbles, it will blow. Right? This seems good. Now we don't have a lot of time that we apply this brushing on the surface because the material will start to dry otherwise. So it's time to add a very thin layer of silicone mold. So धीरे धीरे से आप एक पतला layer apply करिए. Hold on for a moment. Use the heat gun. Keep a cloth piece with you because गलती से अगर आपका material गिर जाता है नीचे, it's a disastrous job to clean it. So keep a cloth piece ready with you. Now I will slowly start pouring the material in order to fill the whole space. Okay, you may tap it like this. उसके कारण अगर कोई bubble है नीचे, so it will start to come on the surface, and then you can use the heat gun and blow it like this. You may also do this process, vibrate it a little bit. As this is still in the process of drying, you will be able to move the material right now. बाकी एक घंटे बाद, आधे घंटे बाद आप उसको move नहीं कर पाएंगे. So you have this opportunity to take the bubbles on the surface and then burst them like this. You tap it, you see that the bubbles are again coming on the surface. The surface of the model should be exactly hidden under the liquid. वो बिल्कुल अगर बहुत ही करीब हुआ liquid के surface के, then that's not a good silicone mold. We try to cover the whole thing up. Any questions, any doubts? Yeah, this seems good to me now. It's ready. And you can see that you're not able to see your model anymore. It's fully hidden, although there are some bubbles, and which is going to happen. That's a normal way. But your model should be hidden inside the material. That's the baseline. Yes, any questions, any doubts? Yes, somebody was saying that how to form a 3D model. Now, is it clear or do you understand the process now? It has to be, the wall should be a little, हाइटेड। अगर मान लीजिए आपका वॉल जो है वो इतना हाइट पे है, आपका मटेरियल ज़्यादा यूज होगा, लेकिन यू कैन कवर दैट होल बॉल इनसाइड द मटेरियल एंड देन यू कैन कट इट इनटू हाफ यूजिंग अ नॉर्मल कटर। और जब आप उसके अंदर मटेरियल डालेंगे देन जस्ट पोर द मटेरियल इन वन साइड एंड देन फिक्स बोथ द थिंग्स, टेप इट डाउन एंड देन पोर द मटेरियल ऑन द अदर साइड दैट वे। और फिर वापस से जैसे वो खुलेगा तो वो 3D आपका मॉडल निकलेगा उसमें से। आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस प्रोसेस। Now I will keep this one aside and I will start working on the next model. Although it's a little risky because I have some gaps here, so I'll have to recheck. No, this is not doable. I have to remove the tapes and redo. Yes, please let me know if there are any doubts regarding this.
For the base, as we have used acrylic base, can we use anything else like cardboard or anything?
Yeah, you can, but tape it down. I mean, if you're using a normal cardboard, then use a transparent tape like this, और उसके ऊपर आप tape लगा दीजिए. Why do we apply the tape? Because silicone mold, otherwise there are chances that silicone mold will, be very sticky and it will attach with the base, and you won't be
It
able
will
to
get
remove.
absorbed. Okay, we
Yeah.
don't want absorbing material.
Yeah. So somewhat like tape or any non-porous surface will do, like
Right.
plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe metal will also work. You can put metal or glass. Glass is the best. Glass or ceramic is also best. उसके साथ वो चिपकेगा नहीं, right? Yeah. So yeah, this model I won't be able to make because there is a lot of gap and we have to fix the gaps first and then we will be able to pour the material. But the silicone mold will look somewhat like this if you put the material inside and remove the mold, somewhat like this. So my task for today is completed. This class was all about creating the silicone molds. Please let me know if you have any doubts, any questions regarding this.
Sir, I missed yesterday's class, but I have not received the recording. If you could just help me with that.
I have posted it yesterday night. I mean, at 12 o'clock we posted. So just open up the folder. The link is given in the group's description. Just
Okay.
open up the link and tap on group 1. There are 2 groups and there are multiple videos. So tap on group 1. There is a blue sign, blue tick, right?
Okay.
So open that folder and the last video you can watch. And I will post the video. Today's video I'll post by the end of the day. Okay.
Sure.
Karan, I was wondering, as we have added so many patterns, for example, if we talk about this owl model, on all the feathers, we have so many patterns. So they all will be visible in the silicone mold, or sometimes we won't get
No,
that
all the
effect.
details will be visible. It will be exactly the same model which you have created. The same replica will form. Okay, so it will be exactly the same. I will show you once the silicone mold is ready. That is the next class. We will also create some of the models. Right, once the silicone mold is ready, we will create some models. So by next class, it will be ready. And then we will pour some materials on top of it. There are multiple materials which you can, pour once the silicone mold is ready. अगर आपको candle बनाना है तो आप सोया वैक्स भी डाल सकते हैं. अगर आपको सोप बनाना है तो आप वो मटेरियल भी डाल सकते हैं. अगर आपको क्ले मॉडल बनाना है then you can put mold it again. If you wish to make again a model which is very lightweight, then you can put epoxy resin. सब चीज़ आप उसके अंदर डाल सकते हैं according to the final requirement. Now here we had very little time, hence I had to put the material directly, but I'm going to use the brush and spread the material on the surface like this. The best part about silicone is that you can apply another layer once after the first layer is dry. So imagine that right now I'm applying this first layer and it will dry within 2 hours, 3 hours. उसके बाद अगर मुझे दूसरा layer उसके ऊपर लगाना है, I can surely do that and it will attach very well with the first layer. Okay, so that is a a very good advantage about silicone mold. Yes. Questions? Any doubts?
Sir, a question not
Hmm.
related to this product, but I was just wondering, is there any kind of art that we can create with silicone?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely up to us that what exactly we want to create using the mold.
Have you ever done this, sir? Like, and create any kind of art? Like we use acrylic or we use oil paint to make a painting. So, I mean, using this silicone as a medium, is it possible to create any art piece?
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely up to us that how creative we can think, and any medium can be used in any way, right? It's up to us. But I haven't experimented with this medium in a way that you are saying that use it for painting or use it for modeling. I haven't done it yet, but it is definitely possible. You can experiment with it, and
Can we make some colors in silicone? I'm sure we can do that.
Again, I haven't done it yet, but yeah, you can try it out. You can try it out. See, I'm not sure. See, I'm not sure about because the property of acrylic color and silicone mold is different, right? Once after the silicone mold dries, right, if you put acrylic color, it will be easily peel off.
Removable. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine that you're putting acrylic color along with the silicone. I'm sure that it will not allow the silicone mold to stick with each other, and it will form. It will. I don't think it will go with the silicone mold. I'm not very sure. According to the properties, I'm deciding. Although we can definitely experiment, but according to the property, I'm thinking that it is not possible. Apart from that, if you take epoxy resin, then epoxy resin is easily soluble
That
with
we can mix.
with acrylic colors. That is possible. So yeah, we will do a little experiment when we are meeting next time. Mostly the silicone mold will be ready. This one definitely will be ready. I'm not sure about this one because I'll have to put more material. So next time when we are meeting, we will add molded and epoxy resin in this. I will make a small model with epoxy resin so that we don't waste a lot of time. वो मैं आपको बना के दिखाऊंगा इससे, right? And how you can create multiple copies of your same model. That I will teach you next time. So we end this meeting here. Is there any questions?
Yeah, please share the link of this silicone materials.
Yes.
You can.
I think I've already done it. Just go through the material list and the initial messages which I sent in the group. I think I've already shared the link.
In the initial messages, you had said a silicone mold. So I have a ready-made mold, but don't have the material to make a silicone mold.
No. There must be the link of the material.
Yeah, it's in the list.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's in the
I'll
list.
go through that again, sir. I'll reach it.
और यू कैन जस्ट राइट हैक्सन इजी मोल्ड ऑन अमेजोन, आपको मिल जाएगा. इसमें 300 ग्राम का पैक भी आता है, 500 ग्राम का भी आता है. दिस इज 500 ग्राम्स, 300 ग्राम्स का भी आता है और 1 kg का भी आता है, राइट? This is Hexan epoxy resin. Sorry, Hexan silicone mold. I have experimented with only this silicone so far, but I'm sure that there are some cheaper brands which you can prefer. But I'm not sure what is the quality. The quality of this is pretty good.
Okay. And what about epoxy resin, sir? Which brand for that?
Similar brand, Hexan.
Hexan only?
Yeah, Hexan is into, ultra clear epoxy resin. This is Hexan. And the ratio is 3:1 ratio. 3 times resin, 1 time hardener. Let me show you the hardener. This is the hardener. This is 1 time. So ये आपको 350 ग्राम मिलेगा. And resin is 1 kg, right? 1 kg, so 1000 grams. 3:1 is the ratio. 3 times resin and 1 time hardener. Okay, pretty good. Very good brand. I mean, epoxy resin के लिए best brand मैंने अब तक use किया है. It's very nice.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other doubts? Just one moment. I would like to show you some models which I've made using this silicone mold, right? So just a moment. Yeah, see, these kind of models are available in the market. आप इस type के models खरीद सकते हैं, and you can make the silicone molds of these models, and you can create multiple copies of it, right? This is possible. ये आपको कहीं पे भी मिल जाएगा, but you have to make sure that it is 2D. It shouldn't have a lot of gaps like this. इतने ज़्यादा gaps ना हो तो better रहेगा. Should be more like 2D model, right? Which you can place, and on top of it you can put silicone mold, right? See, these type of models are available. Okay. And once you make the model, once you pour resin on top of this silicone mold, यहाँ पे जो ये मैंने यूज किया है, तो आपको इस टाइप का कुछ मटेरियल मिलेगा, which can be spray painted later and you can do the blackening effect, right? So epoxy resin अगर आप डालेंगे तो इस टाइप का कुछ आपको मिलेगा, right? You can create multiple copies of it. The extra portion can be cut using a normal cutter. Okay. So this process we will do in the next session, how to add, the material in the silicone mold. Fine. So that is it about today's session. We end this meeting here. I will see you guys in the next weekend, that is Saturday. And we will complete the workshop. Last 2 sessions are left. And we will create some models in the last 2 sessions, right? So we end this here. I will see you.